utter betrayal of this place, this government, of those who have served.
Panorama that year put out a programme about blokes killing themselves, and more blokes took their own lives in 2012 than were killed in the conflict, which was still a relatively high intensity operation in 2012, right? I remember there was this one guy on the film called Dan Collins. I didn't know him in the service, but he had, he'd been on one of the 2009 tours in a very similar area. And he reminded me of this one bloke that I met after an IED explosion that I came in as part of a QRF. And I remember seeing this lad, his lads had walked into an IED field and they were still stuck. And we came with the QRF to try and get him out. I remember running over to him and he was just looking at me like that. He had like this bit of human flesh like falling off his helmet. And he was just in a very difficult position. But when Dan Collins was in this program, his eyes were kind of the same. He was making this video for his mum, basically saying how he tried everything since he came back from this tour, similar to what you and I did, and like he just wasn't the same bloke. And he had tried everywhere to get help, and he just couldn't find it. And then he went up to Senny Bridge on New Year's Eve, and he hung himself in a quarry.
Hey, Mum. Just a video. Just to say I'm sorry. Okay. So ever since I've come back from there, I've turned into a horrible person, and I don't like who I am anymore. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. I know it's selfish, but it's what I want and what I need. I can't live like this anymore. One thing I'd like to ask, could I have a full military funeral if that's possible? So I'd like to go. Mum, please don't get too upset. You've got to understand this is what I want. I've tried all the help. Nothing's seems to be working, okay? But I love you, okay? I'll see you up there in a few years. Well, hopefully not a few years, but you know what I mean. I love you. Alright. Bye.
So when I was doing the specialist stuff in 08 and 09, I would meet politicians like David Cameron and Gordon Brown and people like that. And I'd always had this problem between how we spoke about looking after our people and how proud we were of them and we're a great military nation, and then how it felt like at the kind of lowest level coming back as a full screw or a lance jack and doing, and being left with a choice like Dan where he took his own life. And that really kind of grated me. I found that extremely difficult to marry those two things, and it produced a real sort of tension in me. And I just remember going home to the wife and saying, look, I think I'm going to leave the army. I think try and become an MP. I'm, again, try and change the country and change the way this country looks after veterans. How on earth we're in a country now where we're redressing veterans' rights, which is what's happened this week. So now, if you served in Northern Ireland in the 70s, you will be called to giving evidence at inquests again. You may be prosecuted. You may end up in courts, which is what I put a stop to. The idea that you would regress on that is just crazy, but you clearly have to get better people going into Parliament to stop that sort of thing happening.